Hey there, it's Elisa, the half Asian tarot queen, and we're rounding out the decade here. The last couple readings, I don't know. I'm not sure how many more readings there's going to be because we're approaching New Year's, so we'll see. But since I am the half Asian tarot queen, I'm kind of doing an Asian themed deck today. This is the Healing Light Tarot, which I used in a reading last week, but I love this deck because I just did some training to become a light healer, and this was the card that was kind of stuck in the box when I pulled it out, the Justice card. So that was definitely a theme in the readings in the last week, especially around the new moon in Capricorn, Ring of Fire. There was like a love reading right before that, but injustices kind of coming to light, toxic situations being left, with right when I said that, the Devil card pops out. It's so funny. But yeah, we're ringing in the old, we're ringing in the new year and leaving the past behind. So there's a lot of themes around just being intentional about, like, leaving these burnt out toxic situations in the past and starting fresh with a new decade. There's definitely a big shift in energy that's happening with this coming new year, and it's exciting. So I'm just pulling a few overall energies for the reading, and then we're just going to get right into it. The readings have been very love and emotion focused basically since the holiday season started. And it was funny, as before the holiday season, I was joking in the readings about how the love readings were totally not lovey. And I think people were just really nose to the grindstone trying to get things done. But once the holiday season kicked into full gear, there was a lot of love going around. And we're kind of at the climax of the holiday season. So yeah, yesterday I tried to do a reading that was more generally focused, and it was still there was still a lot of love in that reading. So I think that's part of the nature of this time of year. But I'm just going to be open today to what comes up and see where we go. At the bottom of the deck, we have the King of Pentacles. So this is interesting because this definitely resonates with a thread that's been recurring on the channel called Phoenix. So there was this King of Pentacles, and he was kind of a little bit oppressed. And so this king had to go through this transformation. And as he did that thread transformed into a thread called Dynasties. So he had to right some wrong, which is interesting because that Justice card flipped out earlier, in order to ascend to his emperor status. And so this has been a thread that's been recurring on the channel in Phoenix and the Dynasty threads, if that's a storyline that resonates with you. So we'll see if this is something that comes up in today's reading, but it's interesting that he's here. But this is a Earth sign, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. This is kind of, he can be the patriarch of a family structure, but very grounded, earthly king, very abundant, and I think the archetype would be someone who is the patriarch of a dynasty, so very fitting for those threads. that I mentioned. But as far as overall energies go, we have the Devil card, we have the Knight of Cups, and we have the Ace of Pentacles. So it's interesting because, you know, I was talking about clearing toxic situations from the past, and part of what this King of Pentacles had to do in order to ascend, if you've been following this thread, the action that he needed to do was he needed to offer his cup of love to right some wrong and basically move on from this toxic situation. So it's interesting because the overall energies show, you know, this toxic situation and being overwhelmed, but then there's this offering, and it's actually going in this direction, how it fell out. So he offers his cup of love and then walks towards this new beginning, this new opportunity, this abundance, you know. So it's almost like that whole storyline that I just described is kind of playing out in the overall energies, exactly in that sequence. He was in this toxic situation, he had to right some wrong, which involved him offering his cup of love to his divine counterpart. At least that's how it goes in the thread. And then that allowed him to ascend and to step into his abundance. So interesting. Okay, so for general energies, I've mentioned in earlier readings that I've kind of been reunited with my decks. So this is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tarot. I'm half Asian tarot queen, but I'm specifically half Japanese, so this deck I resonate with quite a lot. So I'm going to use this for the general energies of the reading today and see what we get. It's been really fun to get reunited with my decks and being able to like mix it up. I've been kind of separated from them, so this is great. I love the exploration, and also it's great for viewers to be able to see all these different decks too, because you know, some decks you might resonate more with. It's an interesting exploration. Okay, just 3 more cards. Oh my gosh. Wow, this is pretty interesting. So, if you're new to this channel, welcome. Thanks for showing up. And I've been kind of referring to these storylines as we go, these threads as I've been talking about. If you're a little confused by that, the channel is organized in a less than standard fashion, in the sense that the videos are not organized according to date or according to zodiac sign. All the readings on this are timeless, and I've organized them in playlists according to the storyline. Just a second, my mom's calling me. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I'm visiting my mom and dad right now. So, okay. As far as general energies go, we have the 3 of Swords, the 6 of Swords, and the Moon. And it's interesting how these fell out, but so, you know, obviously there's this heartbreaking situation. This is the 3 of Swords, and it's interesting that it falls right under this, you know, this toxic, heartbreaking situation. But with the 6 of Swords, it's like we're moving on to that. We're moving into the realm of the moon, into the realm of emotion. So it's interesting because we start out with this devil toxic energy, this heartbreak, and then we move on from that towards a better situation by offering our cup of love to our counterpart. But then we come into this new opportunity, this abundance, but it's also in alignment with our emotion. So it's like love and abundance together. is how it's kind of starting to look. And then on the next row, we have the King of Swords, the Nine of Swords, and the King of Cups. So this is interesting too. So the King of Swords is kind of a no-nonsense king, just like my mom again. Okay, my mom has dementia, so like I'll tell her something and then I'll have to tell her again like a few seconds later because she forgets. But anyways, so this King of Swords is not a no-nonsense king. He you know, he doesn't really sugarcoat things. You know, he just kind of speaks the truth, and sometimes it can be harsh. But you know, he's been through a lot. He's in his power, and he kind of doesn't really necessarily operate from like a heart-centered space. It's just kind of like more analytical than that. So, you know, it's almost like, you know, this toxic situation and this heartbreak, it's just like, you know, he's not engaged in it from a heart-centered place anymore. He's just kind of having to deliver this harsh truth. And it's interesting because this really resonates with the new moon in Capricorn reading, which I'll reference here. But you know, there was this King of Swords that was having to deliver a harsh truth to move on from a toxic situation, and that was completely what that reading was about. So I'll put a link to that. And so you know, he's offering his cup of love and moving on from this toxic bad situation, which is good. You know, we're moving in the right direction, you know, and this is a good thing. However, there's the nine of swords here, so that even though this is ultimately overall good, there's a lot of anxiety that's associated with this move. You know, it's not going to be easy, and you know, this has definitely been coming up in the readings this week too. So the new moon in Capricorn, I think the Ring of Fire was also kind of related to this storyline as well. But if he can do that, if he can, like, you know, keep his like eye on the prize and keep moving forward, ultimately he's going to end up, you know, like it was in what I was just saying, abundant, but then he becomes the King of Cups. So he goes from this harsh, no-nonsense, analytical king to the king who is operating from his heart space. And, you know, he can engage his emotions. So it's almost like he has to move on to this new opportunity that's more of a safe space for him in order to engage these energies. So, but, you know, it looks overall like a positive move. So I'm going to pull 3 cards back from the Healing Light Tarot to get some guidance for how we might, you know, move through these energies. But it looks like, you know, kind of all the actions that were being, like, foreshadowed in the new moon and Ring of Fire, and even that Divine Feminine reading, you know, they're kind of happening in slow motion. So it's like daily, there's like a little bit of progress every day. So it's interesting to see it unfold in real time. I love how the tarot works this way. You know, it's beautiful. Okay. All right. I love this. Okay. So for this toxic situation that's requiring a harsh truth to be delivered and heartbreak, we have the Seven of Pentacles. So, you know, like I was saying, this is not going to be easy. It's going to require work to move through this energy. And then, but the next card that we have, you know, if he goes from the 7 to the 8, so he's moving in the right direction by offering this cup. So this is like, you know, an apprentice. This is a worker, you know. So it's just like, this is a dedicated effort, you know, and this is like working hard. you know, working through all this anxiety and healing all of this toxic energy. You know, it's not easy, but he's moving in the right direction, even though it's painful. Like, you're going from the 7 to the 8, you know. And then you go from that to the Knight of Pentacles. And this is interesting because this Knight of Pentacles has been recurring with this storyline a lot. You know, and this is like the slowest moving knight in the deck. So a slow and steady effort, you know, is what it's going to take. But, you know, that was the advice. I believe, I'm not sure if it was the new moon in Capricorn or the Ring of Fire solar eclipse reading or both, but, you know, that was the advice. It was like, if you want to move through this situation, you know, embrace the Knight of Pentacles energy. A slow and steady effort. Don't give up. Don't move too quickly. This is not an easy task, but you're going to get there, you know, so just keep it moving. Keep moving forward, and you're going to get there. So, super interesting. Okay, so just to finish out, I'm going to go to the Moonology Oracle and get one last card of guidance for the reading before we close this out. But yeah, I'm feeling encouraged by the development of, oh my gosh, that's so crazy, by the development of the energies, and this looks like progress, so this is encouraging. Okay, all right, so we got 3 that came out. Oh, no, maybe there's 4. Wow, interesting. I love how it came out because it was just like the colors too. It's just like, okay, this. So the first card is Work Through Your Fears, the new moon in Scorpio. And so I believe this came out in the new moon in Capricorn, which I keep referencing. But this came out at the end, you know, new moon in Scorpio. So, you know, you're going to have to walk through your fears. That came right under this devil energy, you know, like, there's no way around it. Like, you got to deal with your fears. Like, that's how you got here, you know. And we have to heal his energy. Like, that's, you know, a given. But then as we do it, and we're doing this dedicated 8 of Pentacles energy, your dreams need a practical plan. So that the full moon in Taurus. So it's starting to surface in 3-dimensional reality, and it's like weird because I believe this card came out in that reading too. So wild, you know, like they both came out again, you know. So it's just like you're gonna have to work through your fears, but it's like the runway touchdown, you know, like when your dreams start to surface in 3-dimensional reality, you know, it can be a harsh landing, you know, but that's good, you know, because things are coming to fruition, you know. It can be harsh, but this is a sign of progress. And then the next card that comes out is the energy is gaining momentum. So, you know, just what I was just saying, you know, this is a sign of progress, even if it is a little harsh, you know. That's just a natural consequence of things coming to fruition in reality. It's going from the realm of your thoughts into like the real world, you know. So this is actually hopeful. And then it says, the final card is full moon in Pisces. Balance spirituality and practicality. So yeah, this goes along with this Knight of Pentacles. It's a slow and steady effort because, yeah, you're going to hit those, you know, when you touch down, when the plane touches down onto the ground, you know, there's going to be resistance and there's going to be issues and there's going to be challenges. So you got to balance that, you know, your manifestation and working it from the realm of the mind with, like, you know, just the realities of the 3-dimensional world. But, you know, it's good. It's a new opportunity, a new year, a whole new world. So be encouraged because you're making progress and it's going to happen. And check in with you later.